Hello, everybody. We are going to see how to download and install Visual Studio Community Edition in our system. So the site you have to visit is visualstudio.microsoft.com, and then you will have to choose Community if you want a free version. Well, there are other versions, as in Enterprise, but then we are going to focus on the free version, that is a community version. You can hit the download button right here. I will add the link for downloading Visual Studio Community in the comment section. All right, so you could see that there. Let's hit download and see what happens. So when the moment you hit download, it starts to download Visual Studio setup.exe. I already have the Visual Studio setup. So what would this do? This will install the Visual Studio installer. Now, by default, it's going to pick up our application, which is Windows. But then you do have Visual Studio for Mac and Linux as well. So you can choose them under the downloads. You can pick up whichever you want. So even under the community, you can choose whichever you want. So you can see it over here for Mac. You can download it for the Mac as well. Now we have the Visual Studio installer already installed. So it's just an exe. You just have to go with the flow. And once you are done with that, you will get the installer. So let's go ahead and look at Visual Studio installer. So that's the one that usually gets downloaded. Now the Visual Studio installer helps us to install Visual Studio. Now in this system, I just have Visual Studio Community 2022. You can see that here. It shows me that the update is available. I have already installed, but then let me show you how to do the installation as well. So let's hit modify. You will have to hit install if you're doing it for the first time. You can see the workloads that I have selected. If you are planning to create web application and Windows application, these might be the mandatory workloads that you have to select. ASP.NET and web development. That would be one. You can see that over there. The second is Azure development. Obviously, you might want to do the deployment and other stuff. So it's better to select Azure development. And then the third would be .NET desktop development. That would be the third one for desktop application, console applications. Now, the next one would be universal development, just in case you're going to work a great deal with applications that are going to be multi-platformed. And then data storage and processing. So that's for connecting with SQL Server and stuff. Now, if you are going to develop extensions for Microsoft Office or any other such tools, you can add Visual Studio extension. But then pretty much the basic things that you need is data storage and processing, universal platform, desktop development, and then you can go ahead and say ASP.NET web development, Azure. That to do pretty much what we wanted. But then if you want to build more Wii applications, stuff like that, you might want to do .NET multi-platform app UI development as well. So just in case you want to do them, you can add this as well. But then if you do not, then we saw that we have desktop development and the stuffs we require. So once you do that, you can see all the runtime that's being installed. So individual component, if you look, I have .NET Runtime 6 for long-term support, 7 I have already installed, 3.1, 2.1, it's out of support, but then it's already installed. The framework 4.7.2, and then I have the SDK. I have ML for various aspects, so you don't be needing ML. So this is the Azure components that we require, code tooling, and every individual compilers that we have installed based on our requirements. So you can see whatever you require here. Under the language pack, you can choose the languages that you're going to use. So mine is pretty much just English. And you can choose the installation location right here. And then go ahead and just say install while downloading. So it'll do a download and do the installation at the same time. Multiple points, it might pause, but then it'll go ahead and finish the installation very successfully. It's just pretty much next buttons. That's it.